Welcome back, everybody, to Let's Play Umineko When They Cry. In the last episode, we met Beatrice the Golden Witch. Not to be confused with Beatrice the Golden Witch that we already knew. It doesn't make sense. Anyways, in this episode, we're going to continue on in our merry little adventure of a lot of death. And I gotta say, I'm enjoying the series a lot, but I've kind of taken a break from it. A lot of stuff happened recently, stuff that, you know, I don't want to go into detail, but a lot of good stuff and happy things. I graduated college, that's fun. I got my Nintendo Switch. Don't know if I'm going to be doing any recordings anytime soon because of money issues, but definitely going to be doing some things online if you guys want to be interested in that. So there are some good things, and then some depressing things happened. My dog passed away, and that kind of set me into a depression, and I kind of didn't want to record for a while, so I'm kind of back now due to the necessity of trying to get videos up, but just, it's still off that she's not in the house, you know. It's what it is. But going away from depressing stuff like that into Family Murder, the visual novel, I want to announce, or not announce, but mention that I did indeed watch the anime through Chapter 2. Of course, I didn't watch Chapter 3 and 4. What do you take me for? And there was a lot of things that I felt didn't. There was a lot of things that the anime did that kind of lessened the experience for me, so to speak. Now don't worry, I'm still experiencing this game one by one, and I always experience the game before the anime. I just had that one time where I wasn't sure how long it was going to take, and I ended up watching the anime beforehand for Chapter 1, and that was my mistake, and it will never happen again. In fact, I don't think it can happen again in the second game, Chiru, because there was no Chiru anime. That's a kick in the balls right there to anyone who was wanting to watch the second series. But regardless, the anime did a couple of things. I need to keep on pressing the button. The anime did a couple of things that were good and a couple of things that were bad. One of the things that the anime did that I like was it kind of showed me a lot more than the visual novel ever could. It showed me what was going on, it showed me a lot of the things in the background, but it also changed a lot of things, and that's something that I don't particularly care for. A couple of things that they changed: for one, Shannon dodges Fake Cannon's attack. Genji doesn't sit down to play chess after he kills a butterfly. George doesn't cower in the corner whenever he's about to die. And weirdly enough, Kinzo is like teleported into the room rather than, you know, walks to the room with Genji. And he just screams, "Beatrice, take me to the Golden Land," and then the Go people eat him. He doesn't die laughing, he doesn't. No. It's very, very, very different. And there are a couple of other things. Some of the things I won't talk about because, honestly, I'm uncomfortable talking about them. Yeah, I didn't like the child abuse that happened in the anime. I'll just say that right now. But one of the things that, like, outright bothered me so much was the voices. For me, voices are everything. Except for this game. I love to imagine what the characters sound like in this game, rather than outright hear the voices. It's one of the reasons why I didn't apply the patch. And one of the reasons I will continue not to apply the patch in future episodes of this series. And in Chiru, in case anyone's asking. And Like, I want to imagine what the characters sound like in my head. For example, Beatrice, she... The best way I can describe it is, if you take the laughter voice, and then you take the voice that's in the background of the System Zero music, if you find a middle point between those two pitches, that's her voice. That right there is her voice. Beyond that, like, there are a lot of voices that just didn't fit. Butler's fit slightly, it was okay. A lot of the aunts and uncles, they fit. But then you have Canon. Canon sounds 13. And no, that's not okay. Because Canon's a badass. He shouldn't sound like a little kid, if you know what I mean. In fact, if you want to know what I think Canon sounds like, if you take the Naruto anime, yes, for those of you who watched the Naruto anime and didn't read the manga like the rest of us, and you take Sasuke's voice actor, like if you take Sasuke's voice, if you were to make that voice all proper and basically the way that Canon talks in this visual novel, that's what I imagine Canon to sound like. A 17-year-old, very deep-voiced, very, like, melancholy, like, not depressed, more like bored voice. That's what I imagine Canon to sound like. And then in the anime, he just sounds like a kid. Also, a lot of scenes where, like, Canon interrupts Beatrice and Shannon, they were just not present at all. And on top of that, like, I didn't know that it was Shannon that broke the mirror initially. It actually took me a couple of episodes in my Let's Play to figure that out. In the anime, it's crystal clear. They show her face and everything. So kind of... You lose a lot of things when you watch the anime. And that's one of the reasons why I can never recommend the 07th expansion's animes. Both Higurashi When They Cry and Umineko When They Cry. Because with Higurashi, while you did get through the stories faster, you lost a shit ton of things. All I need to say is Chapter 3, and there you go. I've already proved how much you've lost. How much detail was cut out of the visual novel in order to produce the anime. And it's the same thing with Umineko, but I've heard it's actually worse with Umineko. Like, some of the puzzles, because of the way that it's worded in the anime, some of the puzzles I've heard are outright impossible in the anime, whereas it's completely possible in the visual novel. And I wouldn't mind if it wasn't a murder mystery series. In a murder mystery series, you have to make sure that you get the dialogue right, because otherwise it messes with how people come to their conclusions. It messes with how people suspect each other. You know what I mean? As Butler says, it's all useless. Which, they got rid of that in the anime. They got rid of his catchphrase, it's all useless. Which, that made me sad. That made me pretty sad when he didn't say, it's all useless. Anyway, sexism's going on in the background. Like, yeah, actually, speaking of sexism in this game, I don't know why it's a really big theme in this game. It was slightly touched upon in Higurashi When They Cry, you know. They mentioned some things like Keiichi's masculinity, if you're a man, this, that. You know, they also had, you know, there were some very big implicating gender roles in Higurashi, but to be fair, I don't know how Japanese culture is, specifically in the 70s. So, while it does seem like stereotypical gender roles today, that could have been just how culture was back in the 70s. Or it might still be how it is today in Japan. That's why it never really bothered me. It's because things are just different over there. But here it actually plays a role. Like, it's talking about it right now. And I don't agree with the gender discrimination in this game. Or, let me put it to you like this. Using gender as a way in this game to talk about in terms of like succession, that I don't care for. That's just something that I just don't like. However, in terms of age, yeah, no, I'm totally for age. Cross definitely should be the one to inherit his father's fortune because he's literally the first child. If Cross was the second child and he was the first and he still inherited shit, well then that's just complete bullshit right there. Eva should have inherited. But because Cross came first... In fact, I actually mentioned this. It's really weird that Rosa has less of a say than Natsui, considering Natsui married into the family. Like, Natsui doesn't carry a drop of Ushiromiya blood. In fact, Natsui herself constantly keeps on, like, alluding herself to nothing more than, you know, a womb to carry Jessica, and that was pretty much it. Which is depressing! Let's get that out of the way. That's a depressing thought for someone to think about themselves, and for anyone else to think about someone. You know, that's a horrifying thing. But when you turn around and say that, oh, well, you know, I get more say than the person who's actually related to Kinzo, it's weird. How come Rosa isn't fourth? It should go Kraus, Eva, Rudolph, Rosa, then their families. Like, under Rosa should be Natsui because she's married to the first. And then under that should be Hideyoshi because he's married to the second. And then Kiri, and then, well, Rosa doesn't have a husband in this game. But you get what I'm saying. It should go by age. It should go by who's born first, and not who's married to who. I never really liked that about, you know, about this series. The who marries who, and the order of succession, and the order of who is important, I never really got that. It's so weird, but I understand whenever it's like, oh, I'm older than you, I'm the firstborn child of Kinzo, that means I'm next in line. Okay, that seems legit! Am I right? Seems legit. You were born first. That makes you the heir to the throne. Unless you are killed off, incapacitated, or otherwise completely just not fit to have a large sum of money, yeah, you're pretty much the next in line. But when it comes to like, oh, well, it's because I'm a boy, or, oh, it's because I'm a girl, no, man, that doesn't matter. Eva should be second because she's second born. I don't know. Japanese culture in the 70s, specifically for rich families, they're something else. I will never understand them. Not in the entire time that I read this. It's just the stuff that I don't pay attention to. Why? Because it doesn't matter. The person who's killing all of us is an evil witch bent on murdering everyone in this entire family and doing it in the most gruesome ways possible. So, who in terms of succession, who's in charge really doesn't matter to me. Kraus can be in charge for all I care. Beatrice is still gonna murder everyone. That's basically how this goes. Unless this chapter changes that, in which case, I have nothing to say. I've already said that this sort of thing isn't right. I've already given my point of view. I'm completely with, I think Eva's talking? Yeah, I'm completely with Eva on that. You know, like that's not cool. Who the fuck is talking here? What jackass is talking right now? Dude, this... Oh, 7, you have some really, really huge implications in your writing. I mean, he was a social worker, so that's kind of his flavors, to put people into an uncomfortable situation, specifically the readers. And that's a good thing, when it's done right, and 07 is able to do it right. Oh, Cross is talking! Wow! What a dick! This is... I just want to move on. I mean, he's the firstborn. He's kind of a dick. That's one of the things that I hate and like about Cross, depending on the situation. Like, in this, okay, this is a pretty dick thing to say. But, in terms of any other time, Cross just has, like, you can see it in his sprite. He has this smirk look, this smug look. And now Kinzo comes in here. It is good to see people get what they deserve, but damn. Like, Cross was being a dick, and Kinzo rightfully smacked him. That's one of the things I can at least say. Kinzo's better at raising his child than Rosa is. And that's so depressing that, like, now we don't have Chapter 2 Rosa. Like, Rosa and Maria, at the very end, just realized how important each other were, and how important they were to each other, and then they died. That's so depressing. And, because now we're going to have Rosa getting mad at Maria the whole time, and it's like, oh, but you guys realized that, you guys realized that you two were, like, that you mean something to each other. You know what I mean? It's like when you see someone learn a lesson, and then that lesson is completely forgotten about in the next episode of a show or something. It's sad. It's like, didn't you learn this already? Why do you do things? Oh, lovely. Kinzo! Kinzo's also a dick. There's nothing wrong with learning home ec, but specifically for someone of a certain gender to learn that's... Ugh. There's only so many times I can say Japanese culture before it's like, no, this is just straight up sexism. Wow, this guy is a dick. I'm not seeing Cross and Eva's sprites, which makes me believe that this happened when they were younger. I don't know how old they are in this. Like, this is a flashback, obviously. Way to crush this. Way to crush her hopes and dreams. Holy shit. What the fuck? Dude! Genji... Kinzo! Just had a fucking... Oh my gosh. I see where Jessica gets her asthma. Is this gonna be Eva's chapter? I kinda want it to be and kinda don't. Like, on one hand, having Eva at the helm of the gun later in the chapter, that could be interesting. But at the same time, Eva is one of the biggest bitches in Umineko when they cry. Like, I'll be the first to say that she is very cold-hearted. You thought that Rosa was cold-hearted? Rosa was trying to protect her children, yes. She wasn't panicking like Natsuya was. But she also, like, she gave the servants the benefit of the doubt for as long as she could until, like, she literally heard, oh, the corpses just left the room. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, one of you are trying to kill us. Oh, one of you are trying to kill us. Yeah, that's basically Rosa. Eva, on the other hand, I expect the first people that she will suspect are people that she doesn't like, for the sole purpose of the fact that she doesn't like them. It will have nothing to do with evidence. At least that's what I think whenever it comes to Eva. Because so far in the chapters, she's kind of been perceived as a very bitchy person. Man, 07, that was something. I never thought I would feel bad for Eva, ever, but I did. I legitimately feel very, very bad for Eva and her situation. Anyways, we're going to end things off here. Hopefully next episode will be a little bit cheerier, brighter, and not have some very heavy themes in the second episode of Chapter 3. Holy shit, at least wait until, like, episode, what, 5, 10? No, we're just doing this out of the woodwork. Some heavy themes going on here. My gosh. So until then, guys, I will see you guys then.